I'm Shiv,
I'm Slick.
and this is
Slick
Fucking Shiv.
Yeah, welcome back. We're back. We're glowed up. We're better than ever.
We got some lighting and shit.
So, what's been new with you in the past 5 years?
I got a new shouty.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah.
New shouty. What
Some
else?
would say Parvati, you know.
Yeah. Remember that one.
What about you? Spent 9 months in Asia.
Yeah, got married.
Got married.
Yeah.
Married man.
Some casual stuff.
Got new drip and everything.
So, LIC.
LIC.
Moved to New York.
Queens, boy. Let's go Mets.
So, what drove that move to New York, and how do you feel about the vibe of the city, the energy of the city, and your long-term potential relationship with the city?
Well, you and Josh decided to move to Austin, and I wasn't really feeling Texas. So I was like, you know what? New York, you know? I always wanted to live in New York City. So finally made the move and been there 3 years now. Put down my roots in Long Island City after a brief stint in Manhattan and Brooklyn. So 3 boroughs in 3 years. So I'm moving to Staten Island next. And then the Bronx. But yeah, it's been really rewarding. I feel like I've really put down my roots in New York. I've grown a lot personally and professionally, you know. And
How do you see it being part of your future?
I see it and I also don't see it. I feel like my time in the US has evolved. Like I've been here 10 years now in this great nation. And you know, maybe it's time to move back to Europe or Asia. The world is our oyster.
Yes.
Or my broccoli, you know. My mapo tofu. What about you? You're feeling Asia, aren't you?
I'm feeling Asia, man.
After your sabbatical?
Yeah. After time in Taiwan and Malaysia, but I think especially like Southeast Asia, Malaysia really, I think, pulled at mine and Jackie's hearts a little bit.
You and wifey?
Me and wifey.
Kuala Lumpur, Penang? Tell me more about Penang.
Could be Penang. I love Penang because it's got a little bit of everything in the sense that it's a growing city. There's more and more people coming there from lots of different parts of the world, other parts of Southeast Asia. There's a lot of tech happening there, so there is this vibrancy, but it's got this beautiful balance of there's a beach, then there's Penang Hill, so there's like the forest and the jungle, and a lot of like fresh food.
Fruits?
Yes.
My man loves his fruits.
I love my durian. I got totally turned on to durian.
Really?
Yes.
Despite the smell?
I love it. Before I was like, I don't know, but like, man.
Singapore's big on durian. I think they're banned on the trains though.
Yeah, they're banned. In Malaysia, they're banned.
Which is crazy that a fruit is banned from
Yeah, it just says no. There's
no
a
durian.
sign.
Yeah. Singapore, though.
Yeah,
Strict.
they're very strict about it. I mean, even in Malaysia, they're quite strict about it.
Also?
Yeah. You gotta Uber with the durian.
Interesting.
And who knows? Maybe the driver will be like,
Yeah. Now you're back in the United States.
Now I'm back.
Starting a new business with your brothers.
That's right.
Shout out Loke Bros.
Yes, shout out Look Studio. Yeah, it's time to play a game more infinite. Yeah.
Dude, that line on your newsletter, wow, that was more than a spoonful.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
That was like a bowl full. I was like, give me more.
Tell me about like, okay, so speaking of infinite games, like what do you feel like is a game that could be infinite for you? Whether that's like a craft or a industry or an interest, like what feels like.
It's funny you
could dive
asked.
into it.
I don't know what the craft or industry is. I just know like the problem I want to work on
Which
is decarbonizing cities. You know, like the urban population between now and 2050 is gonna grow exponentially, and I feel like figuring out how to decarbonize the emissions from cities is gonna be like a challenge that I want to be part of that movement, regardless of who's in the Oval Office.
How do you like what in your mind? What is a perfect city? Like what does it look like?
Kind of like Singapore, a little bit like solar punky, like rapid transit, right? Like you really don't need a car, and all the vehicles are EVs. The energy source is also from renewables, so it's not like you're plugging in your Tesla, but it's coming from fossil fuel powered. You know, like truly clean.
Yeah.
And also like walkable green spaces, third spaces where like parks, communities, like some kind of like urban planning that really is like comes from a place of like here's where people can gather and like interact with nature. I think that's my vision of like.
How do you think of housing? Like smaller housing and more like outdoor common spaces, or potentially like bigger? What
I think the former, more like modular housing, where it's like more community oriented, with like those shared spaces.
I have a similar vision.
With some floating farms also.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like where does the trajectory seem to like be moving to be doing that actively?
Well, I'm currently in vet care, so you know it's right around the corner to climate tech. But I feel like that's my 9 to 5, right?
Yeah.
But like after work, I go to like these events in New York where I'm like, I've been in rooms where 70% of the room are already in climate tech. So if I'm showing up in this community, like, and I'm already seeing familiar faces, like, and I'm making my interest known. And when I show up to these things, I'm being very specific, like I'm interested in mobility, so that they know who to connect me to. And then that's sending a signal to that market that like, hey, I'm looking to transition in climate tech.
Yeah.
I'm not in it yet, but here's my specific area of interest. And so I feel like I'm already like keeping one eye towards the North Star and one eye on the kuttas. You know?
Oh my God.
So then I feel like that's how it's fueling myself outside of my day job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. What about you? How do you draw the line between work and play? You know, when you're like.
Yeah, it's tough
like,
because
let's put it down and watch some anime.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is tough because the three of us like what we do. We love what we do, and so we can keep talking about it somewhat endlessly. The trick is really knowing when that enjoyment sort of is spilling into potential burnout territory, and we have to be very intentional about telling each other, hey, I need a break, or hey, I'm gonna be offline from a low bros capacity. So for me, like, I've really enjoyed writing, and I guess that's a change in the last 5 years too, is I've been like publishing more, and I think that
you published your own poetry.
Yeah, I published a poetry book when I was on
Spoonful of
sabbatical.
poetry.
Yeah,
Check it out.
it was, that was a beautiful experiment too, because I don't think I would have given myself permission to do something like that on my previous path. And now I feel much more like I can do those things, and that's all just a mental construct of what I can and can't do. But back to the question of that balance, I think it's really about establishing the right boundaries, but also creating the space within our own conversations to allow ourselves to explore creatively, and encouraging each other to go down our own creative rabbit holes.
Right.
So some days I'll be like, okay, guys, like Sunday morning, I'm having a writing day, and so I won't be online as far as you guys are concerned. And we're like, obviously, there's only 3 of us, so we can actually work through those things, but we're honest about the kinds of things we want to be doing.
And you choose your own hours, like weekends are not off limits, like.
As of now, yeah. As of now, it's whatever the work demands.
Right.
And so far, it's been demanding, so we keep working. Yeah.
That's dope.
And that's the episode.
Peace.